All right, have and have not fans. Now, I guess you could say this is probably the biggest takeaway from the episode The Lion. And, I mean, literally the opening part of that episode. Don't get me wrong. Aside from that Justin Jeffrey ending, which I hated, the rest of the episode was actually pretty good. But I feel like the first, 10 to 15 minutes of the episode where Hanna's talking with Candace, I pretty much got what I wanted from that scene, which was backstory. And you all know during the off season, I did a bunch of videos talking about character backstory and this and that. But I feel like we definitely got something that we all wanted, which was some explanation about how Candace came to be. So if anything else, this is solid confirmation that Candace is older than Benny. She is older because that was Hanna's first child. Now, this video is pretty much just going to talk about my thoughts. I mean, I feel like I can speak for everyone when I say that Crystal Fox, that was an amazing scene. And Tinka Sumner, I give her props because being able to just be stone-faced through about 98% of that speech, I mean, wiping away one or two tears now, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if I could have. I know Benny was in the background, holding his own somewhat, but that was just like, I'm kind of stumbling over my words. I actually do have a, little notepad here with some notes on it, but I can't put into words the way that speech made me feel, because I feel like I was Candace in that scene, because I wasn't crying, but I felt, some tears welling up that I did have to wipe away just because that was such a powerful scene. Now, I've already talked about in episode review about how it was really amazing scene. I feel like Tyler Perry does this on purpose. And I know a lot of people like myself. I mean, when Hanna took off her shoes and beat them together, I knew the context of Matthew 10:14, but I needed to go back just to reread it, just to make sure I knew word for word what it was about. And that was about, if somebody doesn't welcome you into their home, their city, their town, and they don't want to listen to what you say, then just simply brush the dust off your sandals and go somewhere else and just leave. And that's what Hanna did. And I mean, Hanna put it all out there. She literally told the whole story. There's nothing that she has that Candace wants anymore. Candace just wanted to know about her father. She told the story, and I mean, literally, and she loved her then, loved her now. She apologized for everything she did wrong as a mother. And I don't think there's anything else Hanna needs to do at this point. Whatever happens to Candace happens to Candace. Like, I literally have no sympathy for her if she doesn't want to change her ways. And the sad part is, the sad part is that Candace really does need to have somebody hold her. But I get why she is the way she is. It's just sad that she wouldn't allow herself to break down and just forgive her mother. That's the thing. And as she tried to pretend that the only takeaway from Hanna's story was the fact that, yeah, you gave me hell when I was a kid, and you were wrong for that. And it's not, nope, thanks for telling me about my father, I don't believe it, blah, blah, blah. But good and well she did believe it based off how she broke down after Benny and Hanna left. So pretty much, just to sum up the entire story, Hanna was never a prostitute. She was never a whore. So we did get confirmation on that. What she did confirm that she was a wild party girl back in her day, but I mean, that's pretty standard for a lot of teenagers, guys and girls alike. She was out with some friends, they had a little bit too much to drink, and she couldn't find her keys, I believe, and it's like, okay, I'll just walk home, it's only a couple of blocks. Then she hid, curled up, because that guy who was trying to rape her was looking for her. Then eventually her aunt, who wasn't home at the time, eventually came home, and apparently she was high and just passed out on the couch. Hanna went inside thinking everything was good, and then when she woke up, somehow this guy was on top of her, pretty much with, I believe, his hand around her throat, saying, if you scream, I'll kill you. And unfortunately, she felt herself being raped, and next thing you know, that's how she found the Lord, amazingly enough. And went to church, and then she got bigger, and I believe her aunt was like, you're not staying in this house if you get an abortion. And if anything else, she went to church again, and she went to church, and then after finding out she was pregnant and whatnot, she just started to throw herself and get in all these bad relationships with men. And again, it wasn't prostitution, but she was pretty much trying to find something that she was missing in all these men who turned out to be the wrong man for her. Then she eventually had Candace, and the biggest thing was, And I've said this time and time again, I was a little off the mark here when I was saying that every time she looked at Candace, it was a reminder of the lifestyle that she lived, because of how Candace is a prostitute now, but that really isn't the case. It's the fact that Candace has the same eyes and nose as the guy that raped her. And I'm just like, that is some powerful stuff. But at the same time, you know, she still loved her. And I get, you know, what really makes me sad now is not just the whole, you know, Hanna getting raped and whatnot. It's the whole situation in which that she met Tony, because she met, what was it? She got into more toxic relationships. Eventually, Candace got molested. Then that's when Hanna went back to God, went back to church a lot. And then that's where she met Tony, had Benny, and then found out that he was married to, what, a white woman or something like that. And it was just like, wow. I mean, it's sad because you know about how she got pregnant with Candace, how she tried to find everything that she didn't feel like she had in a bunch of other men, but that didn't turn out to be the right decision. Then she went back to God because unfortunately Candace went through the same experience that Hanna went through when she was a teenager, when Candace was like, what, a little girl when she got molested. And then, you know, when she's on a straight and narrow, living life for God, hooks up with a church-going man, and it turns out that relationship wasn't going to work either. And as a result, boom, now she had Benny. And that really makes me feel very, very sorry for Hanna. And I'm glad that she agreed with Benny to go see a psychiatrist. Not because she's crazy, because don't get me wrong, talking to God is talking to God. It's like an entirely new level. But sometimes it is good to have somebody here on earth that you can confide in and hopefully get some help. And this episode was just confirmation that a lot, if not every character in this show needs a shrink. Jeffrey for his anger issues, Wyatt for his substance abuse, Veronica for whatever the heck she's on right now, Melissa for her suicidal, rebellious tendencies, Jim for being a sex addict, and the list goes on. It's just, I can't even name them all because all of them need help for something. Wow. So the fact that, you know, Hanna just laid it all on the line, just told the truth. I mean, like I said before, there's really nothing else left to say. And as I feared, you know, Candace pretty much just upped her prostitution ring to being a pimp to 100 times what it used to be. Instead of properly absorbing this new information, she's just muscling her way into Gia's territory, or excuse me, making it seem like Gia's stepping on her territory and pretty much pimping her out now. And then we're looking at the fact that, wow, that was a powerful episode, guys. Seriously, that beginning of the episode was very good, very good. We look at the fact that Hanna isn't wanting to go out with Derek, but I'm pretty sure with Catherine Cryer being Catherine Cryer, she's going to make that date happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to happen. And somebody actually Instagram messaged me about, watch Derek be the one that has the lion tattoo. I pray to God that's not the case. My gosh, no, please no. Hanna needs a solid relationship. Here's an even bigger question. Do you think we'll ever meet Hannah's real father? I mean, excuse me, Candace's real father. How would that go? Can you imagine if Candace, you know, I believe she said her escorting days are over. She's a pimp now. She's letting other people do it. But can you imagine if at some point she eventually comes across the guy with the lion tattoo? That would be very interesting. I might have to do a video on that. But overall, I feel like we definitely got the backstory we needed, and Candace did as well. What she does with that information is what she does with that information. I literally don't know what else to say for her. And it's the sad fact that Charles, she has this golden ticket, as David told Jim back in season 1. It's like, we have this golden opportunity to run for governor and lieutenant governor. But I don't know. Hey, sorry about that. School bus just let out in the parking lot of the apartment complex. So hopefully you can't hear the loud screams of the kids running home because, you know, it's Wednesday. They're free. But overall, I mean, this was a very powerful opening episode. I mean, the bigger question is, what do you think the payoff is going to be in terms of Candace's father? Will he eventually show up, or whatever the case may be? So with that being said, what did you think about that scene? I'm going to be honest here. I said this in another video. Not that this episode was bad, but there really wasn't a lot of takeaway in terms of, oh, I can do a bunch of videos on this and that. It seemed like a good amount of setup for next week, like with Jim and Sarah, Justin and Jeffrey, Benny going to visit Veronica in the hospital, and we'll see about Derek in the future. But overall, that scene just gave me some information, and that's what I really want out of these characters. Information on how they came to be, and this is definitely why we need a have and have not movie. Like, I would probably be cringing just seeing that scene between Hanna and that guy, but maybe they'll do like Amanda and Professor Cannon where they'll show her being forced into the bed but not show the rape itself. But we'll just have to see. But overall, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll talk to you later.